Every leader and people manager needs to find a balance. A balance between what? Imagine we have a scale. We all live with a scale. This would be our scale. On one side, we have what we're going to use Chinese terminology, what we're going to call yin activities. And on the right-hand side of this scale, using the same Chinese terminology, yang. Yang activities. What would yin stand for? Yin behavior is a flexible behavior, soft, open, listening. So it's somebody who's very open and listening to others. What would we call a yang behavior? A determined, hard, sometimes hard, tough, very direct, very sharp behavior. And so a leader or a people manager needs to find out when he needs to be yin, open, soft, flexible, and listening to others, and when he or she needs to be sharp, tough, determined, very clear. And to find this balance is not very easy. Using the English language, we could call these asking activities, and the other ones telling activities. So, since we're talking about a scale, and knowing we have two sides, and we need to find a balance in that scale, how much time, in average of course, in 100%, how much do you think in percentage a leader or a personal manager should be on the left-hand side of this scale, and how much time should he or she spend on the right-hand side of this scale? Have an idea? Maybe 50-50. Right. Anybody else?
75 on the yang.
75 here?
Yes.
On the yang. So 25 on the yin.
Yes.
No abstentions. Okay, right.
I'm more inclined with Francois as well. 75, 25.
25. Right. All right. Anybody else? All right. Let's stay with the 50-50 and the 75-25. I'm going to run the risk of frustrating you. A leader should spend 95% of his time on the yin side and only 5 on the yang side. 95? And only 5 on the yang? Yes. Well, depending on the business, this 5 could go up to 10, and this 95 could go down to 90, but not more. It's really much more time spent on the left-hand side of this scale than on the right-hand side of this scale. Why? To understand this, we need to know what's on the left-hand side and what's on the right-hand side of this scale. Now, what could be on the left side?
Stop and thinking.
Beg your pardon?
Stop and thinking.
This is when we manage people. So, Nancy, it's right. And that we're not talking about that part. Now we're talking about when we're leading and managing people, all right? When we are in the profession of managing people, dealing with teams, with people. And since this is asking activities, there are two obvious. One is, beg your pardon?
Open-ended question.
Yes. One is ask open-ended questions. Why, where, how would you do it? What is your idea? All the open-ended questions we've talked about previously. Now, since we said yin is open, flexible, soft, and what was the other one? Listening. So, empathic listening, empathetic listening would be another one. What else?
Delegation of tasks?
Yes, delegation. And we said that when we delegate, we can use a question. Anybody remembers that question?
What do you propose?
Yes. What do you propose? What do you propose? For instance. Now, when I'm on the left-hand side and I'm a people manager, this allows me to get to know my colleagues. Their needs, their frustrations, their need for motivation, and also acknowledge what they've been through, all the efforts they're making. In one word, coaching. So, on the left-hand side, we have lots of activities. We could put more there, but we understand it's always listening, being open, getting information from the colleagues, from the team we have. Now, on the right-hand side, what will we have?
Decisions?
Yeah. If it is sometimes tough, sharp, determined, very clear, it can only be about decisions. So it's not only deciding, because in deciding, I'm not yet in communicating with others, is really the act of communicating decisions. Communicating decisions. Or communicating information. There's not much more on the left side. On the right side, sorry. There's not much more. When we talk about authority, my authority is judged by my team on how I get to know them, I listen to them, I ask them questions, I delegate. How I really use their knowledge, how they feel empowered. And that's on the left-hand side of my scale. Now, I've known leaders, CEOs, and politicians who really had a hard time, they would struggle a lot, finding the balance of this scale. And I've met some who were 100% of their time, even more than your 75, Francois, 100% of their time on this side. This means those people, those managers, those leaders, those politicians will not be doing this. How do you think their teams, their people would look at them? What would they tell about their boss?
He's a dictator.
Absolutely. He is a despot, a dictator. He is extremely, let's use a softer word, he's extremely directive. Autocratic, probably, despot or dictator. as somebody who doesn't care at all about how our colleagues feel, what needs they have, what type of frustrations, motivation, who cares? They consider it purely as a resource. They're not people. And we just use them to get the results we want. Now, I've known people on this side. What happens to their authority? Are they respected? No, they feared. These are leaders that have all their teams fearing them.